The change is straightforward. The first question is you change percentage is straightforward, right? The second, actually, some of you guys didn't really get it properly, right? So here I'm asking for two conditions. You need to flag the ones where population less than 50%, right? What's the condition for population less than 50 million? Oh, hold on, which population? I'm talking about 2015 population.
Wait, I'm confused.
So 50 million.
But none of them were 50 million, so.
Potatoes and thousands.
Oh! Yep. I missed that. Oh, I missed that. Yeah. I was like, oh, none of them are 50 million.
Okay.
Sorry,
So that means you need to put your condition in 50,000, not 50 million. So this is the first condition. D2 has less than 50,000, and second one, what? The name should not start with that.
I had Google that it does not equal. I had to Google that. I didn't know that in class.
You can do it with equal and you can put not actually. There's different ways to do it.
So if we use not, we just use F and then asterisk for the wildcard character.
If it gives you the right answer, I don't care how you did it. But this is the simplest way to do it. You can do it in other ways.
How lenient are you on this question?
Oh, it's only 5 points now. Oh yeah, 4 per condition, that's why.
Separate it out. I mean, you did it in one and.
Yeah, if you want to separate into 2 columns and combine it, that's fine. My advice to hide the other one. That's okay. I mean, if you get it to that point, you could have just, take these 2 conditions and put them in one formula.
That was the idea, but then we ran out of time.
Yeah, I was like,
That's fine.
Yeah.
So it's always good just to break it up. Condition 1, condition 2, and look at each one separately, like you did logically. Do one in one column, the second one, and then fuse them, and then you can just take the 2 formulas, put them in one. So you don't need these intermediate columns. So take it step by step. Same thing when we did in the homework about the commission and then the low season. Some of you guys, even though they got with the right answer, but they had a formula really long because they need to do every combination, right? We have three commission levels and 2 conditions or 2 values for the slow season, 1 and 2. Yeah. So if it's this commission with this or this commission with that, you ended up with like 6 or 7 combinations. You don't need that. Take each one separately. First, get the commission regardless of slow season, and then multiply by the output of the slow season. You can put the output slow season is like either 1 or 1.5. Just multiply by that. If it's slow season, 1.5. Otherwise, it's 1. So break it up.
This one could have been done with if, right? You could have done it with if,
Hmm?
right? This one could have been done with if, right? If statement.
With yeah, you can do that with if statement. But here I specifically asked for it to use, and you choose logical functions. Actually, with if statement, you could have used that too. That's fine. Yeah.
Then nested with n.
That's okay. Yeah. So with this, just let me go back to that homework 3 solution. Where was it? Okay, it's not here. I need to open it. So commission, the solution I put, this the one I posted?
Yeah.
I thought I did it another way. Hold on, there's another. Okay, I remember I did the other formula. I put 2, 1 for the quarters, yes.
Yeah. If you do this, then calculation is okay. The calculated field works. But if you do it within, if you're using a pivot table and the hierarchy is just single hierarchy,
Yeah.
then you cannot do a calculated field.
You mean in a pivot table?
Calculated field, if you have a single hierarchy in a pivot table, then you cannot do a calculated field. Right now, what you did was you separated the two columns. So the pivot recognizes it as two different.
Right, but what I'm trying just to do here, I should just look at the formula because there's another way to calculate the commission with the slow season. It's not about the pivot table. But I'll go back and update the homework tree actually with the other way. There's different ways you can put this formula together. Anyway, let's go back to this one. So it's clear how we did. The formatting, I think you guys mostly got it right. You can do this top 10% and bottom 10%.
I didn't do this. I went to color scales and then
Yeah.
I tried
Yeah.
adjusting the percentage.
No, I went to manage.
If you did that, that's fine. But these are built in.
Yeah, I created a rule for this.
You can do top 10%, top bottom percent. That's what it takes.
Oh, I knew about that one.
So you can do it your custom rule.
So can you? I did it using manage rules. I created a rule within the condition.
You can create rule. I mean, as long as the right values are highlighted, I don't really care how you did it. But I was just showing you that there's tons of options here. I figure you guys will pay attention to the top bottom part here.
Yeah, I never looked into it.
Some of you did, some did not. But now you know. That's why we do the exam review. So
Would that work for both? Would that work for both? Like you can highlight both the top and the bottom, like press the device.
yeah, with different colors. If you pick the same color, you can tell. But yeah, when you select, let's say top 10%, you select what color shade you need to do for the top 10%.
And then when you press it again with the bottom, like.
And then you pick another color.
apply both.
Yes. So for this one, you see what's been applied. Top 10% is the green, and the bottom red, and the top is green. Good. So now you know how to create the rule.
I wasted time with it.
So here's the other thing. Actually, it's you look at the strategy. This is 5 points, supposedly easy. Sorry. So if you think this is taking too much time, leave it. Move on to the next one. Then you rewrite right. It's a loop. Yes. When you're supposed to spend like a minute on it. If it takes more, then you know something's off.
I think the best part was like I took less time in deciding that I'm not going to get everything right. So let me.
Okay. So you set your expectation. That's good. So the VLOOKUP for the regions, in my opinion, this was straightforward. All we need to do is use the if error because not every country has a matching value. So if you start with a VLOOKUP, you'll get some invalid value for some of them. So this is where you say you use if error. I mean, for those who don't have a value, use other. I seen like at least 2. I scanned through the exams. At least 2 actually. They manually went there and typed other. This is not how I want it to be. So believe me, for that data set is not wrong. You get your reports, and that will work. But if you change the data, you have to do that again. So for that, you get a partial grade that you did the VLOOKUP, but you didn't do the other part. Okay. Bless you. So we did this, we did that.
I have one question.
Yes.
So there were some countries which had the names in the VLOOKUP list,
Mhm.
but they were part of a bigger name. Like Asia is listed as Asia, but
That's fine. If there's no value, just choose other. You don't have to fix the data. This is the data you're given. Okay, create pivot tables for the totals. So in this solution, basically we have this done manually, so you can do it. Actually, I thought I put another one. There's another way you can create that percentage on another pivot table. So that would work too. So if you manage to do all of them in one, hold on, let me go back to the question. So do the population create a pie chart. So using the data in the pivot table, calculate the change per region. I didn't specifically specify it has to be the same pivot. You could do that, or you could create a separate pivot table. Yes.
the pie chart. How did you choose using the data in the pivot just to reflect? Because the moment we would select, it would show the data of 2000 and 2015. And if I try to remove it, then the whole pivot will go back.
Yeah, it wouldn't let you select the data.
Because you were using a pivot table, pivot chart.
How'd you get the pivot percentage? I had a calculator.
Pie chart automatically percentage.
Oh, you calculated
Mine had the number of the
You
population.
can, depends what you want to show, format data series. Not the format data series, hold on. Format data label. You can get percentage or the value. Oops.
So I manually calculated the percentage.
You can put the value. This is what you got, right?
Yeah.
You could just compare that to percentage. Because it's a pie chart, the total has to be 100%. So the pie chart automatically transforms that into percentage.
So I took a harder route. I made another chart for the percentage. It works.
Fine.
Is that approach valid?
If I get the chart with a percentage, I don't care how you did it.
All right.
But it costs you more time, yeah. So now you know.
And you could have just calculated the percent change, right? Not put it in a pivot.
Yeah, there's different ways to do it, but this is like one simple way to do it. But I'll tell you, the downside of this, if your data set changes, then you need to go back and update this form. It's not won't update with it. If you, let's say you have, in this specific case, you're not going to have more continents, ideally. But this kind of fix that. But if you have a different arrangement, your data changes, then you have to go back and update that. Okay.
Professor,
Yes.
do you mind showing like how to import the data, just in case, because I think I messed up.
We'll do that after we go through the analysis. So histogram. Okay, anything left here? Histogram, this is, I think, was relatively straightforward. I didn't ask to rearrange the bins or anything. Just the process is this is the way I'm looking at for you guys to think. Collect quick stats about the data. What's your data range? The data you're getting histogram on. What's the min? What's the max? So this goes between negative 17% to 90%. No, you don't have to write it here. I'm just putting here to show. So this is how you do a quick summary first. Min and max, so at least you know what's the range of your bin. So then I put at 10%. This is negative 10% or less, up to 80% and more. So create these bins and just create the histogram. And I cleaned up the columns a little bit.
Could they have gone by 20%?
What do you mean?
Like 20 instead of 10%.
You did 20?
I did 20.
That's fine. But ideally, you want to see your data a little bit represented. So if you get your,
Yours isn't showing.
It is.
I know it shows 13 to 30. It shows approximately here like which bins. So almost as this one. No, I did not. I didn't specify that. If you notice the question, create a histogram, select the bins accordingly, show cumulative percentage data, create histogram chart, must have 20% decimal visible grid lines. I didn't specify that your bins have to show the quartiles. Grid lines, these.
No, I missed
I put the
question.
vertical ones too. I put on vertical ones too.
I mean, I'm not going to penalize you if you put more grid lines than I asked, but at least have these. The verticals, that's fine. So the way basically to do this, you go to the left, the format axis, basically. You set, sometimes you see it like as 1.2 at 120%. I think as soon as you run it, it goes like this. It's not really needed. You know the maximum value is 100, so this can go from 0 to 1. And then you put the measure units at 0.25. And once you do that, then you right click on it and show measure grid lines. It goes with, I picked minor. It put the grid lines on the measure units. Okay. I mean, the whole question is how much?
23 points.
5 points, 23.
But grid lines is something we can
Yeah.
Grid line.
Visible.
Grid line.
I just did visible grid line, not the 25.
Yeah.
Would I get
Okay,
half or
if you know decimal out of 3, you'll lose, I don't know, 4. No. So I have 3 criteria here for 5%, so you'll lose 1 or 2. Since I cannot deduct 1.6, that'll be 2. Round it up. So the category. That was fun. So there's couple of ways to do it. Just I put here two ways of solution. So you have to combine 2 things. So on one end, you need to get the 2 letters from the region, right? And then depends on the value of the percentage, you need to add either negative or plus, minus or plus, or plus plus. So in this approach, you look first, you analyze the percentage, the change. If it's negative, you assign a variable temp category and I assign negative to it. If not negative, that means it's positive. But if it's positive less than 0.3, then it's plus. Otherwise, it's plus plus. So now I have a value in temp category as either negative, minus, plus, or plus plus. Then I use region input. I'll take the left 2 characters from region. I'll do uppercase. Hold on, why there's 2 parentheses here? There's an extra set. Then I'll take the 2 uppercase from the region and I add them to the one I got from up here. And that will return the value. This is one way. The second one, you can start with the region first. Temp category, you can first start logically from, you know what, let me make this the main one and this is number 2. So the other one, you start with the 2 letters, 2 uppercase letters from the region, and then you check the percentage. If it's less than 0, then you add minus to it. Otherwise, less than 0.3, you add plus. Otherwise, add plus plus, and then you return that value. Yes, Alina?
So when you have special characters in your column name, like yours says change, it doesn't have change percentage, because that was giving me an error. So if you leave out that percentage symbol, it'll still.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it won't accept this as a name.
Right. So.
Or you can put, typically you can put PCT like this.
So even if you could just change, it'll know what column you were fixing?
No, basically this has nothing to do with the name of the column. Here, you can use any names you want. But when you use it, but when you use it here, the first value is the percentage which you need to refer this, and the second one is the region. And you do that. Yes.
I noticed in the VBA course, if you go to real quick, you didn't delineate at the end of get category. Don't you need to put as something after you put those 2? As something.
Yes. Can do that. Ideally, if you don't do it, it will take it as variant.
Oh.
But it's better to specify. Thanks for bringing it up. But yes, you have to specify.
So in this case, you haven't used option explicit. If we use option explicit, what could be the problem? Because I think my code was getting stuck because of that, and then I removed it.
Usually you have a typo in the name of the variable. Explicit. For example, if you use, let's say, change percentage here, right? And you come here and check what is change PC, and then you try to run it, and you're gonna get error. You're gonna get.
Option explicit should populate that PCT directly.
No, it does not. But if it doesn't recognize a variable, then it's gonna give you a warning. So this is to avoid typos. So if you mistype a variable, if you don't put option explicit, Excel will think that's a new variable, and it will give it whatever value, typically either empty or 0 if it's a number, and we'll go with it. So, okay, so see the logic, I think it's simple. Yes.
The problem happened that instead of
What do you mean in?
And so the thing is, I didn't know that to add to string it is very to use an ampersand sign. I was confusing it with Python and I just used add.
Did that work?
No.
I'll be surprised it did.
But the thing is, the else condition worked, but the first two conditions didn't work. The rest, the whole thing is right.
I mean, but you could have. I think you should have kind of known that from the formulas, because in our formulas, when we concatenate two strings, this is string concatenations. In formulas, you can use concat function or you can use the ampersand.
But the concat function is not used in.
Yeah, but in formulas, you can use both. At least that will be a hint. I was like, oh, maybe it's the
Yeah, I
ampersand.
tried using the concat function and since it could not be used as
And again, you could have Googled how to concatenate strings in VBA.
the time was a factor.
Is there a concatenation function in VB?
I don't believe there's. Oh, it's concat. No.
No, it's not there. This one is not there, and any Google search would show me to the Excel concatenation function, which was not.
You have to specify VBA. Okay, let's go back here. Here, concat and VBA. How to connect strings together. Here. The ampersand operator.
I would concatenate.
Here, string 1 and string 2. Okay. Any question on this? Okay. So moving forward. This one, I don't know why some of you guys struggled with this.
That's what I did first. I took your advice.
The part that you had to correct at the beginning, that you said it was 13 you were looking for.
This one, I mean, total
I just
revenue.
figured that
Honestly,
wasn't
I'd even debated myself if I should put sub-reference. I'm trying to be helpful here. I should basically just say total reference, land cost, because this is exact title of the cells. So I didn't mean to cause confusion there, because here, total building cost, revenue. So I'm trying to be helpful to point out exactly which cells these are. But yes, you can use solver. I mean, as I mentioned in class, goal seek is specific case of solver. It's like without constraint, it's just straightforward. But yeah, you could use solver for that. Because solver basically is goal seek, instead of min and max, you just set a value. Like how to set a value of this to what? 15%. 0.15 decimal. Changing cell, this one. Sorry, no constraint. It's actually there. You know what? Let's put 1,000 first. And let's run it again. You should get the same value. So this or goal seek. So goal seek is simple. I didn't want to ask you solver to do this.
I did use solver and I did have a constraint. I don't know how.
As long as you ended up, as long as your formulas are correct, and you ended up with the right answer here.
I think I did have a constraint.
What was the constraint?
That the price cannot be negative. Could have been. So if you have to have a profit, the price has to be more than the cost. So.
Well, you can constrain it with the profit margin. You could. You can maximize it and then.
But that's your target.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But you can just put it. It's got to be less than or equal to.
Yeah.
You could constrain it
Less-
that way. It's
yeah.
no way to do it,
I
but
think
you
I
could.
used this
How
one.
would you even come up with that?
Look, I'm just saying if you want it, it could work.
Fine. Okay. So these were the. Now looking back, now you see where you wasted your time. Do you wanna do a retake?
No.
No.
If it's the exact same example.
No, this is not middle school. No retake. Okay. Who asked for the import? Let's do a sample of the import. Okay. Quick way to do it. I'll copy it, Go back here. Paste wizard has data. Have headers, and it's I think pipe and comma, right?
Yeah.
Okay, next, finish.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know. I didn't use comma in the thing, so I had to.
And replace it in the data set.
Yeah.
So
This is the whole data set.
no.
This is the card.
This is the card data. You're right. Hold on. How did I end up with that? This is the homework. Sorry, I had the wrong folder open. Still same thing. Here, take that back.
I did it like 3 times. I don't like looking at photos.
Okay. So I have headers, comma, and first let's say I open an IC pipe. Okay, let's go back here. So you open here, you look at it, you scan through it. Oh, I see some commas here. And then you scan through quickly. There's some commas somewhere else. Okay, so I know I need to use 2 delimiters. Even if I use only one, right? Let's say I forget about the comma, I got the pipe, and I hit finish. Then I look, I have some values here.
It was everywhere.
Then what you do, go back here, use import wizard, then you use comma and pipe. We had this in one of the homeworks, no?
No, it was just comma. I just got next. This is.
Okay.
That is where we messed up, because we should have taken both pipe
And then finish.
Exactly. And I
So when you do it this way, now I look at the 4th column, I see some values here. Just selecting the column, you see some count and value. So there's something not right. So I go back here, I see UK is 60, 56. So I open the data, number 22, not this one.
I don't know. I was just like going.
Just to see exactly how the data looks originally, number 22, I see there is this number is has 1,000 separators, so shouldn't be there. So I can go back here and let me look at the other one. Oh, you see these are shifted. So simply you can simply drag them like this.
Yeah, I have a question to that.
Hold on. And this one and this other one then needs to be combined. So this is, I can either manually type it, 566, and that's it. Done, my data is ready.
Fair enough. Now, had there been multiple points, I used the concat function.
You could, if you have multiple, yes, you could.
Just to make it easier, like it's a
No, I agree. If you have many cases like this, yes, you can use a concat function. You equal this and, oops. And this.
Yeah,
If it's empty, it's not going to change.
But that is now a text.
Yeah, it does screw you up.
And,
Yeah, it really
and
does.
that's the problem with Excel.
I'll tell you how to do that.
And I wasted so much time doing this. And,
No, I'll tell you how to do that. So you get this one, right?
That's why
You can right click, paste as values, and guess what? Convert to numbers.
Oh, that last one.
This is one way. Okay. This is one. The second way to do it. Give you a hint. You can do that, or you can use the function val. I know I didn't teach you that yet, or value of this one.
But then why doesn't formatting work on that?
Hmm?
If you want to format it to number, why doesn't formatting work?
Because when you use %, when you use concat, it assumes it's a text.
No, that's fine. But once it's converted into text, why can't I format it back using the formatting function?
I don't know why exactly, but okay, this now got messed up. There you go. We don't want to give England more people than they do have now. We have 60 million. Okay. So I think the key is to that you need to pick 2 delimiters. That will almost put it almost clean. You have literally just 2 records messed up.
I said so much time.
Yes, Alec.
Can you also then in the actual text go in and like overwrite, like replace the commas with like
parking lot?
You can clean up the source if that's easier. You pick whichever. Either you clean it after you import it, or if you think it's easier to clean the source, go clean the source and import it again. Depends how much crap you have in the data. Excuse my language. Yes.
In the pivot table for the change percentage, when you click, when you insert the formula for the first cell and drag it down, it doesn't take that formula. No, in the
And the pivot
table, yeah.
Yeah, it won't, because if you reference to the data as the get pivot data,
Yeah.
it won't drag. So you need maybe just type in manually the cell number. This is like B2 instead of clicking.
And then you can drag it down.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
So for example, if you do here instead of DC, okay, if you do it this way, this minus this,
That's how I did it.
this won't drag. You have to do it manually. So for this one, yeah, just type in D3 minus D3, and then you drag it. Yeah, this one of the painful things to deal with the pivot table. If you want to reference specific data, you cannot
Just need to enter what
automate
is
it.
this thing.
Yeah.